Get down! Hands up! Nobody move!
What's happening?
The champagne glass shattered first, then the windows, then the world. Mina didn't hear the gunfire. Not at first. She only saw her husband's face change, saw those dark eyes widen, saw him lunge across the candlelit table with inhuman speed, felt his body slam into hers, felt them both hit the marble floor as roses and china exploded around them. Something wet bloomed across her ribs, warm, spreading fast. "John Woo," she whispered. His hands were already pressing against her side, his face hovering over hers. And for the first time in 3 years of marriage, she saw fear in Kim Jong-woo's eyes. Real, raw terror. 7 men in tactical gear poured through the restaurant doors, automatic weapons raised. They'd chosen Valentine's Day deliberately, the night when even monsters pretended to be human. They'd miscalculated. John Woo looked up from his bleeding wife. His expression went empty, cold, something ancient and violent sliding behind his eyes like a blade finding its sheath. "You shouldn't have come here," he said quietly. That's when the screaming started. If you're already hooked, smash that like button and subscribe. This story gets darker, hotter, and more dangerous with every minute. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. To understand why 7 trained killers would be foolish enough to attack Kim Jong-woo on the most romantic night of the year, you have to go back to where it started. Back to the night a powerful man learned what it meant to be powerless. 18 months earlier, Mina Davis had no idea who Kim Jong-woo was. She was bent over the hood of her vintage Mustang in a parking garage at 11 p.m., muttering curses at a dead battery, her natural curls pulled back in a silk scarf, grease on her hands, curves wrapped in a sundress she'd worn to her best friend's birthday dinner. The parking garage was empty. Downtown Los Angeles, after dark. Not the safest place for a woman alone. She heard footsteps. Measured. Deliberate. Getting closer. Mina straightened, grabbed the tire iron she'd wisely placed within reach, and turned. The man who emerged from the shadows made her breath catch. Tall, impeccably dressed in a 3-piece suit, despite the late hour. Korean, probably early 30s, with sharp features and eyes so dark they looked black in the fluorescent lighting. Beautiful in a dangerous way, like a blade wrapped in silk. "Your battery's dead," he observed in lightly accented English. "I noticed," Mina replied, not lowering the tire iron. "I'm fine. I've already called AAA." John Woo tilted his head slightly, studying her. He'd noticed her an hour ago in the restaurant where his business associate had insisted on meeting, noticed the way she laughed, the way she moved, the curve of her waist, the fullness of her lips, the intelligence in her brown eyes when she'd helped an elderly woman struggling with the door. Something had shifted inside him, like a lock clicking open after years of being sealed. "AAA will take 45 minutes, minimum," he said. "I have jumper cables." "That's convenient," Mina said, suspicion clear in her voice. "I'm Korean," John Woo replied with the ghost of a smile. "We're prepared for everything." Despite herself, Mina laughed. "Is that a cultural stereotype or personal philosophy?" "Both." He moved toward his car, a black Mercedes that probably cost more than her annual salary, and returned with professional-grade cables. Mina watched him work with quick, efficient movements. Designer suit, expensive watch, but he knew his way around an engine. "Interesting." "I'm Mina," she offered after a moment. "John Woo." "Japanese?" she asked. "Korean," he corrected gently. "Very, very Korean." She smiled. "Sorry, I'm terrible with—" "It's fine." He connected the final cable. "Start your engine." The Mustang roared to life. Mina felt genuine relief flood through her. "Thank you. Seriously. Can I don't know, buy you coffee or something, as thanks?" Junwoo looked at her. Really looked at her. "Dinner," he said. "Tomorrow night. I'll pick you up at 7. "That's pretty presumptuous," Mina pointed out, but she was smiling. "Is it working?" Maybe? She gave him her number, watched him drive away, had absolutely no idea she'd just given her phone number to one of the most dangerous men on the West Coast. The next evening, Junwoo arrived at her apartment building in Beverly Hills at precisely 7 p.m. Mina came down wearing a red dress that hugged every curve, her hair in natural curls that fell past her shoulders, gold hoops catching the light. Junwoo's expression didn't change, but his hand tightened almost imperceptibly on the car door. "You look beautiful," he said simply. "You clean up nice yourself," Mina replied, sliding into the passenger seat. He took her to an upscale Korean restaurant in Koreatown. Private room, quiet, intimate. The staff treated him with the kind of deference that made Mina's antenna go up. Too much bowing, too much nervousness. "So what do you do, Junwoo?" she asked over bibimbap. "I manage family businesses," he replied, not technically a lie. "What kind of businesses?" "Import, export, real estate, investments, all through, just not the legal kind." "Sounds boring," Mina teased. Junwoo smiled, a real smile this time, and it transformed his face. "Incredibly boring. What about you?" "I'm an ER nurse at Cedars-Sinai," Mina said, "so my job is the opposite of boring. Last week I removed a dildo from... Actually, never mind. HIPAA violation." He laughed. Actually laughed. When was the last time he'd laughed at dinner? "An ER nurse," he repeated. "That explains it." "Explains what?" "Why you weren't afraid last night, in the parking garage. You deal with dangerous situations constantly." "I had a tire iron," Mina pointed out, "and pepper spray in my purse and a bad attitude. I'm from Atlanta originally. We don't play about our safety." Junwoo found himself fascinated by her confidence, her humor, the way she met his eyes directly, unflinching. Most people couldn't hold his gaze for more than a few seconds. She stared at him like she was trying to figure out a puzzle. "What?" he asked. "I'm trying to decide if you're a good guy or a bad guy," Mina admitted. "And?" "Jury's still out." Smart woman. By their fourth date, Junwoo was in trouble. Deep, irreversible trouble. He'd never felt like this, never wanted someone with this kind of intensity. He found himself thinking about her during business meetings, checking his phone for her texts, making excuses to see her. His second in command, Dae-jung, in Korean, started giving him concerned looks. "Hyung," Dae-jung said one evening in Korean, after Junwoo had cut a weapons negotiation short to make dinner reservations. "This woman, she doesn't know who you are, what you are." "I know. When she finds out, she won't. She will, eventually, and when she does, she'll run, or worse." Dae-jung paused. "Or she'll be used against you. You're making yourself vulnerable." Junwoo stared out the window of his penthouse office. "I don't care." That was the problem. He really didn't. 2 months into their relationship, Mina still hadn't been to Junwoo's home. They always met at restaurants, her apartment, neutral locations. She was starting to wonder if he was married, or had weird taxidermy everywhere, or was secretly a hoarder. "Your place tonight," she declared one Saturday afternoon. "I'm cooking you dinner." Junwoo looked trapped. "My apartment is under renovation." "Liar," Mina said cheerfully. "What are you hiding? Secret family? Weird porn collection? Bodies in the freezer?" His expression flickered for just a second. Mina's smile faded. "Junwoo, that was a joke." "I know." He pulled her close and kissed her forehead. "Fine, my place. But don't judge the decor my sister decorated." His apartment turned out to be a 6,000 square foot penthouse in Century City with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Los Angeles. Minimalist furniture, expensive art, a kitchen that looked like it had never been used. "Your sister has good taste," Mina said, setting down grocery bags. "Also, you're rich, like really rich." "Family money," Junwoo said. "Import-export must be very profitable. You'd be surprised." She started cooking, jollof rice, plantains, perfectly seasoned chicken, and Jun-woo watched from the kitchen island, completely mesmerized by the way she moved, the way she hummed while she cooked, the way she'd made his sterile, cold apartment feel like a home just by being in it. "Tell me something true," Mina said suddenly, stirring the pot. "Something real." Jun-woo was quiet for a long moment. "I've never brought anyone here before, to this apartment. You're the first." She turned to look at him. "Why me?" "Because when I'm with you, I forget what I am," he said quietly. "I just remember who I wanted to be." Mina's breath caught. She crossed to him and stood between his knees as he sat on the bar stool. "And who's that?" "Someone worthy of you." She kissed him then, soft at first, then deeper. His hands found her waist, pulling her closer. The kiss turned hungry, desperate. His fingers tangled in her curls. Her hands slid under his shirt, feeling hard muscle and scattered scars she'd noticed before but never asked about. "Bedroom," she whispered against his mouth. Jun-woo stood, lifting her easily. She wrapped her legs around his waist as he carried her down the hallway. They left a trail of clothes, her shirt, his belt, her bra, before reaching his bedroom. What happened next was slow, reverent. Jun-woo touched her as if she were precious, like she might disappear if he wasn't careful. Mina had never felt so cherished, so wanted, so completely consumed by another person. Afterward, they lay tangled in expensive sheets, her head on his chest, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on her shoulder. "I'm falling in love with you," Jun-woo said into the darkness. "I need you to know that." Mina lifted her head to look at him. "That scares you. Terrifies me." "Why?" "Because loving someone meant giving them the power to destroy you. Because in his world, love was a weapon. Because he'd built his entire life on being untouchable, and this beautiful, brilliant woman had walked past every defense like they were made of paper. Because I've never felt this before," he said instead, "and I don't know how to do it right." Mina smiled, kissed his jaw. "Lucky for you, I'm an excellent teacher." The following morning, Jun-woo woke up to his phone vibrating violently. Mina was still asleep, her curls spread across his pillow, one leg thrown over his. He carefully extracted himself and stepped into the hallway to take the call. "We have a problem," Daejong said without preamble. "The Dmitri situation. It's escalating. He wants a meeting. Tonight." Jun-woo closed his eyes. Dmitri Volkov, Russian arms dealer, temperamental, dangerous, also convinced that Jun-woo had shorted him on their last transaction. "Set it up," Jun-woo said quietly, "but not anywhere near—" "I know, far from your girl. I'm not stupid." Jun-woo returned to the bedroom. Mina was awake now, stretching like a cat, the sheet slipping down to reveal smooth brown skin that made his mouth go dry. "Morning," she said with a sleepy smile. "I have to work tonight," he said reluctantly. "Business dinner. I'll make it up to you." "It's fine." She sat up, sheet pooling at her waist. "But Jun-woo." "Yes?" "Whatever you do for work, just promise me you're careful, okay?" He crossed to her, cupped her face. "Always." If only he could tell her the truth, that being careful was impossible when you ran the largest Korean organized crime syndicate on the West Coast, that every meeting was potentially fatal, that he'd killed 17 men with his own hands. But he couldn't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. That night's meeting went sideways fast. Dmitri showed up drunk, paranoid, and armed, accused Jun-woo of theft, of disrespect, started making threats in Russian that Jun-woo understood perfectly, even if he pretended not to. "We're done here," Jun-woo said, calmly, standing to leave. Dmitri pulled a gun. "Sit down." The warehouse went silent. Jun-woo's men, 8 of them positioned around the space, tensed, waiting for his signal. Jun-woo looked at the gun, then at Dmitri. "You're making a mistake." "You think I'm afraid of you?" Dmitri spat. "You're soft now. Everyone knows. Got yourself a pretty little girlfriend. Makes you weak." Everything in Jun-woo went cold. "What did you say?" "The nurse. Ethiopian, right?" "No, wait," Dmitri laughed. "American. Black. Curves like—" Jun-woo moved. One second, he was across the table. The next, his hand was around Dmitri's throat, slamming the Russian's head into the concrete floor with enough force to crack bone. The gun skittered away. "You don't talk about her," Junwoo said quietly. Too quietly. "You don't think about her. You don't even breathe her air. Understand?" Dmitri gurgled something that might have been agreement. Junwoo stood and straightened his suit jacket. "Daejung, make sure Mr. Volkov understands that our business relationship is terminated, permanently. And if I hear he's been anywhere near Cedars-Sinai Hospital, I'll take it personally." He left the warehouse with blood on his knuckles and murder in his heart, because Dmitri knowing about Mina meant others knew, meant she was visible, vulnerable, meant he'd have to tell her the truth soon, or she'd discover it herself. Neither option would end well. A few days later, Mina came home from a brutal shift to find her apartment filled with flowers, roses, peonies, lilies, every surface covered. In the center of her dining table sat a box from Tiffany's. She opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a bracelet, white gold, delicate, with a single diamond charm. Beautiful, expensive, excessive. Her phone rang. Junwoo. "Did you rob a florist?" she asked by way of greeting. "Do you like them?" He sounded almost nervous. "They're beautiful, insane but beautiful." "Junwoo, this is too much. It's not enough. It will never be enough. He paused. "I need to tell you something. About my work. About who I really am." Mina's heart sank. Here it comes. Wife, kids, fraud, something. "Okay," she said slowly. "Tell me." Another long pause. "Not over the phone. This weekend. I'll take you somewhere we can talk. Somewhere private." "You're scaring me." "I know, I'm sorry, but I promise, after you know everything, if you want to walk away, I won't stop you. And if I don't want to walk away, then I'll spend the rest of my life proving I'm worth the risk." Saturday morning, Junwoo picked her up in a different car, a Range Rover, and drove them to Malibu, to a house on the beach she didn't know he owned, private, isolated, waves crashing against the shore. They walked along the water, hand in hand, and Junwoo told her everything about his family, the Kim syndicate, the businesses they ran, legitimate and otherwise, the violence, the blood, the life he'd been born into and never escaped. He showed her the scars on his torso, knife wounds, bullet wounds, evidence of a life lived in shadows. Mina listened without interrupting. Her face was unreadable. When he finished, silence stretched between them like a chasm. "Say something," Junwoo finally said. "Please." "You lied to me," Mina said quietly. "For months." "Yes." "You're a criminal." "Yes." "You've killed people." Junwoo met her eyes. "Yes." "Have you ever hurt someone innocent?" "No, never. I have rules, lines I don't cross. But you've crossed other lines." "Many." Mina turned to face the ocean. Junwoo wanted to touch her, pull her close, but he forced himself to stay still, to give her space, to let her decide. "Why tell me now?" she asked. "Because I love you," he said simply, "and you deserve the truth, all of it, even if it means losing you." "You think you'll lose me?" "I think any rational person would run." Mina laughed, sharp, humorless. "You clearly don't know me very well." She turned to face him. "I work in an ER in Los Angeles. I see what people are capable of. I see gang violence, domestic abuse, overdoses, and assaults. I've held dying children, watched mothers lose sons, seen the absolute worst of humanity. Mina, I'm not finished." Her eyes were bright with unshed tears. "You think your world is so much darker than mine? At least you have rules. At least there's structure, consequences. The people I try to save, they're killed by random violence, by chaos, by poverty and desperation and bad luck. That doesn't make what I do right." "No, but it makes you human." She stepped closer. "Do you know what I saw when I first met you? I saw a man who stopped to help a stranger at 11 p.m., who knew how to fix an engine in a $3,000 suit, who made me laugh, who looks at me like I'm the only person in the room." "You are." "I'm not stupid, Junwoo. I knew something was off. The way people treat you, the scars, the phone calls you take in Korean when you think I can't hear, the bodyguards you think are subtle." She smiled sadly. "I chose not to ask because I was falling for you too, and I was scared of the answer. And now that you have the answer?" Mina took his face in her hands. "Now I'm making a choice, with my eyes wide open. I choose you, all of you. The good, the bad, the dangerous. But I need you to promise me something. Anything. Promise me you'll keep me in your life. Not hidden away, not protected to death. I'm not a porcelain doll, Junwoo. I'm a woman who survived 28 years in this world without you. If I'm choosing this life, I'm choosing it fully. Partners. Equals. Understood? Junwoo pulled her into his arms and buried his face in her hair. Understood. And promise me you'll come home. Every night. No matter what. I promise. Liar, she whispered against his chest. But I love you anyway. 3 months later, Junwoo proposed. Private beach, sunset. The ring was a conflict-free diamond, because Mina had strong opinions about blood diamonds, and he'd respected that. She said yes before he finished his speech. They married quietly 2 weeks later. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. Mina's mother flew in from Atlanta, took one look at Junwoo and pulled her daughter aside. Baby, I love you, but that man is dangerous, Mrs. Davis said bluntly. I know, Mama. Do you? Really? He'd burn the world down for me, Mina said quietly. And honestly, after the life I've lived, after the men I've dated, after the disrespect and the disappointment and the heartbreak, having someone who would go to war for me, that doesn't scare me. It's exactly what I need. Mrs. Davis studied her daughter's face, saw the certainty there, sighed. All right then, but if he hurts you, I'm flying back here with my sisters and we're handling it Atlanta style. Deal. Junwoo, overhearing this conversation from across the room, made a mental note to never, ever cross Mrs. Davis. Married life suited them both. Mina moved into the penthouse, kept her job at the hospital because she loved it, because it kept her grounded, because Junwoo had meant what he said about partners and equals. She learned to ignore the bodyguards who discreetly followed her to work, learned to accept the bulletproof car, learned the names of Junwoo's men and which ones could be trusted absolutely. In return, Junwoo learned to share his life, to come home at decent hours when possible, to text when he'd be late, to wash the blood off before walking through the door, to separate his world from hers as much as possible. But the violence always found ways to seep through, like the night Mina came home to find Junwoo in the shower, fully clothed, shaking. She'd pulled back the curtain, seen the blood washing down the drain, and simply climbed in with him, held him until the water ran clear, asked no questions, just loved him through it. Or the morning she woke up to find him staring at the ceiling, jaw tight, eyes hard. What happened? She'd asked quietly. Someone tried to kill Dae-jung last night. Car bomb. He survived, but Junwoo's fists clenched. They used his daughter to lure him out. She's 8 years old, Mina. 8. They used a child. Did you find them? Yes. Good. That simple response, no judgment, no fear, just acceptance, made him love her even more fiercely. By their 6-month anniversary, Junwoo had become openly possessive. Not controlling, he'd never disrespect her autonomy, but protective to a fault. He knew her schedule, had men watching the hospital, checked in constantly, showed up at the end of her shifts with food or flowers or just himself. Mina found it equal parts endearing and exasperating. You know I can take care of myself, she pointed out one evening when he insisted on picking her up after a late shift. I know, but why should you have to? Junwoo countered. I have the resources. Let me use them to make your life easier. It's not about being easy, it's about trust. I trust you completely. I don't trust the world. Fair point. The jealousy started subtly. A doctor at the hospital who flirted with Mina too openly. Junwoo showed up during lunch, kissed her thoroughly in the cafeteria, and gave the doctor a look that made the man find a different hospital to work at within the week. Did you threaten him? Mina asked suspiciously. I don't threaten. I make promises, Junwoo smiled, and I promised I'd remove his hands if he touched you again. Junwoo! He grabbed your waist, Mina. I saw the security footage. He was moving past me in a crowded hallway. He could have said, "Excuse me." She wanted to be angry, she really did, but the fierce protectiveness in his eyes, the way his jaw tightened when he talked about another man touching her, it did something to her, something primal. "You're insane," she said. "For you? Absolutely." Valentine's Day was approaching, their first as a married couple. Junwoo had been planning for weeks. He'd bought out her favorite restaurant, a small Italian place in Santa Monica where they'd had their third date, arranged for roses, champagne, and her favorite dessert, a quartet to play her favorite songs, the entire restaurant, just for them. Romance and privacy in equal measure. "You didn't have to do all this," Mina had said when he told her the plans. "I want to. You deserve grand gestures, Mina. You deserve everything. I just want you. You know that, right?" "I know, but let me spoil you anyway." What Junwoo didn't know, what he couldn't have known, was that Dmitry Volkov had been planning his revenge for months. The Russians had built a coalition, 7 men. All have grudges against Junwoo. All were willing to die for a chance at taking down the man who'd humiliated them. They'd watched, waited, learned the patterns, and they'd chosen Valentine's Day specifically, the night Junwoo would be distracted, vulnerable, human. They planned to send a message, kill his wife, let him live with the loss. They had no idea that killing Mina wouldn't break Junwoo. It would unleash him. Valentine's Day arrived cold and clear. Los Angeles in February, 65 degrees, palm trees swaying, sunset painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Mina spent the afternoon getting ready. Red dress, Junwoo's favorite color on her, gold jewelry, hair in soft curls, makeup that made her brown skin glow. She looked at herself in the mirror and smiled. 1 year ago, she'd been single, frustrated with dating apps, convinced she'd never find someone who understood her. Now she was married to a man who looked at her like she hung the moon. A dangerous man, a complicated man, but hers. Junwoo picked her up at 6:30, and the look on his face when she opened the door made her pulse race. "You're trying to kill me," he said. "Is it working?" "Extremely." He pulled her close, kissed her slowly and deeply. "We could stay home, order takeout. I could spend the entire night showing you how beautiful you are." "Nice try. You planned this elaborate dinner. We're going." "Worth a shot." The drive to Santa Monica was easy, with traffic lights for once. Junwoo held her hand the entire way, thumb stroking her knuckles. The bodyguards followed in a separate car, discreet as always. They arrived at the restaurant at 7. The entire place was empty except for the staff. Candlelight everywhere, rose petals scattered across the floor. A violinist in the corner playing something soft and romantic. "Junwoo," Mina breathed. "This is too much." "No such thing." He pulled out her chair. "Not for you." Dinner was perfect. Wine, pasta, and conversation that flowed like water. Junwoo told her stories about his childhood in Seoul. She told him about growing up in Atlanta. They laughed, flirted, fell in love all over again across a table covered in roses. At 8:15, Junwoo excused himself to take a call. Business, quick. He stepped toward the back of the restaurant, phone to his ear. Mina sipped her champagne, scrolled through her phone, and smiled at a text from her mother asking how dinner was going. That's when the front doors exploded inward. Glass shattered, wood splintered. 7 men in tactical gear poured through, automatic weapons raised. The violinist screamed. The waitstaff scattered. Mina's hand went to her purse, where she kept pepper spray, but she was too slow. The lead man, Dmitry Volkov, though she didn't know his name, pointed his gun directly at her chest. "Mrs. Kim," he said with a thick Russian accent, "Valentine's gift. For your husband." Mina's training kicked in. ER nurse. Stay calm. Assess. "You don't want to do this." "No," Dmitry smiled. "I think I do." That's when Junwoo came around the corner. He took in the scene in an instant. 7 armed men, Mina frozen in her chair, guns pointed at his wife, and his world narrowed to a single point. He moved. Pure instinct, launching himself across the space, hitting Mina with his full body weight, driving them both to the floor as the shooting started. Bullets tore through the air where she'd been sitting. Champagne glasses exploded. The table flipped. Junwoo covered Mina completely, his body a shield, his arms wrapped around her head. Something burned across Mina's ribs. Hot, sharp. She gasped. Junwoo felt her flinch, felt the wetness between them, looked down and saw red blooming across her red dress. Darker. Wrong. No, he whispered. No, no, no. His body parts crashed through the back entrance. Gunfire erupted, rapid, controlled, professional. The 7 attackers scattered, returning fire, using tables and the bar as cover. Junwoo didn't care about the battle, didn't care about the bullets, didn't care about anything except the woman bleeding in his arms. Mina, look at me. Stay with me. I'm okay, she managed, even though she wasn't, even though the pain was spreading, sharp and terrifying. Junwoo, You're fine. You're going to be fine. He pressed his hand against the wound. So much blood. Too much. Daejung, car, now. The firefight continued. 3 of the attackers went down. 2 fled through the shattered front doors. Dimitri and 1 other pinned behind the bar. Junwoo lifted Mina, careful, so careful, and ran for the back exit. His men laid down covering fire. Daejung had the armored SUV waiting, engine running, back door open. Hospital, Cedars-Sinai, fast. Mina's vision was going gray at the edges. She could hear Junwoo talking to her, feel his hands on her face, but everything seemed distant, underwater. Stay awake, he commanded, desperate, terrified. Mina, baby, stay with me. Don't you dare. His voice cracked. Please, please don't leave me. Not leaving, she whispered. Promise. The SUV screamed through Los Angeles traffic, running every red light, weaving between cars. Junwoo kept pressure on the wound, kept talking to her, kept willing her to hold on. They made it to Cedars-Sinai in 11 minutes. Junwoo carried her through the ER doors himself, covered in her blood, face like carved stone. GSW to the right side, he said to the first doctor who approached. Clinical, controlled, like he wasn't dying inside. Entry wound below the ribs, no exit wound visible. She's lost a lot of blood. The ER staff knew Mina, loved her. Seeing her on a gurney, bleeding, unconscious now, several nurses started crying. Sir, you need to... I'm not leaving her. Sir, Junwoo turned. The look in his eyes made the doctor step back. I am not leaving her. They let him stay through triage, through the scramble to get IVs in, stabilize her, and prep her for emergency surgery. He held her hand the entire time, even as they wheeled her toward the OR. Mr. Kim, you can't come past this point. Save her, Junwoo said quietly. Whatever it costs, whatever you need, save her. We'll do everything we can. That's not good enough. Save her. The doors closed. Mina disappeared behind them. Junwoo stood in the hallway, covered in blood, shaking. Daejung appeared at his elbow. Hyung, we got 2 of them. The others scattered. We're tracking them now. How many total? Junwoo's voice was empty, dead. 7, including Dimitri. Find them, all of them. I want locations within the hour. What are you going to do? Junwoo looked at his second in command, something terrifying in his eyes, something ancient and merciless. I'm going to show them what happens when you touch what's mine. The surgery took 4 hours. The bullet had nicked her liver, causing internal bleeding, but it missed all major arteries. The surgeon, Dr. Patel, who'd worked with Mina for 3 years, found Junwoo in the waiting room, still covered in blood. She's going to make it, Dr. Patel said. She's stable, strong. She lost a lot of blood, but we got the bullet out and repaired the damage. She'll need time to recover, but she's going to be okay. Junwoo's knees nearly gave out. Can I see her? She's in recovery, still sedated, but yes, come with me. Mina looked small in the hospital bed, pale, tubes and wires everywhere, but breathing, alive. Junwoo sat beside her, took her hand carefully, and let himself break, just for a moment, just in the privacy of that hospital room. Tears he'd never shed in front of anyone fell silently. I'm sorry, he whispered. This is my fault, my world, my enemies. You were right. I should have kept you separate, should have protected you better, should have... What? His head snapped up. Mina's eyes were open, cloudy with medication, but open, focused on him. You're awake. Barely. She squeezed his hand weakly. You look terrible. You were shot. I noticed. She managed a small smile. How bad? Bad enough, but you're going to be fine. Dr. Patel said, I know what Dr. Patel said. I'm a nurse, remember? Her smile faded. Junwoo, what are you planning? He said nothing. Junwoo, they shot you, he said quietly, on Valentine's Day, in a restaurant I chose because of me, because they wanted to hurt me, and they knew the best way to do that was through you. So you're going after them. Yes, all of them, every single one. Mina closed her eyes. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me you'll come back, that you won't get yourself killed seeking revenge for something I survived. Mina, promise me, Junwoo, because if you die trying to avenge me, then they win. Then they take everything. You understand? He leaned forward and kissed her forehead gently. I promise. I'll come back to you. Always. Liar, she whispered, but she was smiling. Junwoo left the hospital at dawn, showered, changed, armed himself, called a meeting of his inner circle. 7 men, he said, standing at the head of the conference table in his office. I want names, addresses, families, routines, everything, and I want it now. Daejung slid a folder across the table. Already done. We've located 5 of them. The other 2 are in the wind, but we'll find them. Junwoo opened the folder, studied the faces, memorized them. 7 days. 1 per day. I want them to know it's coming. I want them to run, to hide, to feel what my wife felt when they pointed guns at her. Hyung, if you do this, there will be consequences. Political, financial, the other families. I don't care. They shot my wife. There are no consequences they can impose that will stop me. His men exchanged glances. They'd seen Junwoo angry before, violent, ruthless, but this was different. This was personal. This was terrifying. Day 1. The first man, Sergei, one of Dmitri's lieutenants, was found in a motel in Van Nuys. Junwoo went alone, kicked in the door. Sergei reached for a gun. He wasn't fast enough. Junwoo didn't use his weapon. He used his hands. Methodical, brutal. Every bone he broke, he thought of Mina on that operating table. Every scream, he heard her gasping, I'm okay, even though she wasn't. When it was over, he left a message, carved into the wall. 6 more. Day 2. The second man, Victor, tried to run, made it to the airport, TSA checkpoint. Junwoo's people found him anyway, detained him in a maintenance room for questioning. Junwoo arrived 30 minutes later. Please, Victor begged. I was just following orders. So was I, Junwoo said coldly. My wife told me to come back alive. That's my only order now. He kept his promise to Mina. He came back. Victor didn't. Day 3. Third man, Alexei, barricaded himself in a safe house in the valley. Guards, cameras, security systems. Junwoo burned it down. Not metaphorically, actually set the house on fire. Waited outside. Alexei came running out, clothes smoking, coughing. You should have stayed inside, Junwoo said. The message this time, 4 more. Day 4. The fourth man, Pavel, went to the police, begged for protection, witness protection, anything. The detective who took his statement was on Junwoo's payroll. Pavel disappeared from the police station. No cameras caught it, no witnesses came forward. Junwoo visited Mina that afternoon. She was sitting up in bed, color returning to her face, but still weak. She took one look at him and sighed. How many? She asked. 4 down, 3 to go. Junwoo, I know you don't approve, but I can't stop. Not until they're all gone. Not until I know you're safe. Mina was quiet for a moment. Then, I'm not going to tell you to stop. You wouldn't listen anyway. But promise me you're being smart, not reckless. I promise. And promise me that when this is over, we leave, go somewhere. Just us. No business, no revenge, no blood. Just us. Junwoo sat on the edge of her bed, careful not to jostle her. Where do you want to go? I don't care. The moon, Antarctica, a cabin in the woods, anywhere you're not trying to kill someone. He smiled, the first real smile in days. Deal. Day 5. The fifth man, Yuri, tried to negotiate, sent messages through intermediaries, offered information, money, anything. Junwoo sent back a single message: run. Yuri ran, made it all the way to San Francisco, hid in a container ship bound for China. Junwoo found him in the cargo hold, in the dark, alone. 2 more, he said into the silence. Day 6. The sixth man, Mikhail, was smarter, disappeared completely. No digital footprint, no credit cards, no phone. It took Junwoo's people 3 days to find him, hiding in a monastery in New Mexico, pretending to be a monk seeking redemption. God can't save you, Junwoo said when he found him in the chapel, but if you tell me where Dmitri is, I'll make it quick. Mikhail told him everything. Junwoo kept his word. Day 7. Dmitri Volkov knew it was coming, had known since day 1. He'd gone deep underground, fortified location, multiple guards, escape routes. He was ready. Junwoo didn't care. He hit the location at dawn. Not alone this time. He brought his entire crew, 30 men, military precision, overwhelming force. The firefight was brief, brutal. Dmitri's guards were outmatched. Junwoo found the Russian in the basement, gun in hand, cornered. You should have killed me, Dmitri said, when you had the chance, months ago. Should have put a bullet in my head instead of just breaking my nose. You're right, Junwoo agreed. That was my mistake. I thought you'd be smart enough to leave it alone. To leave her alone. She made you weak. No, Junwoo raised his gun. She made me human. There's a difference. And you tried to take that from me. Tried to kill the one good thing in my life. The one person who sees me as more than a monster. What are you now if not a monster? Dmitri laughed bitterly. Look what you did. 7 men, dead in 7 days. For what? A woman? Not a woman. My wife. The reason I still have a soul. Junwoo's hand didn't shake. You crossed the only line that mattered. So kill me. Finish it. No. I'm not going to kill you, Dmitri. The Russian looked confused. What? I'm going to let you live, but you're going to leave. Los Angeles, California, the United States. You're going to disappear. And if I ever hear your name again, if you ever come within 1,000 miles of my wife, I won't kill you. I'll kill everyone you love. Your brother in Moscow. Your mother is in St. Petersburg. Your daughter is in London. Everyone. Do you understand? Dmitri went pale. You wouldn't. Test me, Junwoo said softly. Please, give me an excuse. Dmitri left the country that night. Junwoo returned to the hospital, covered in someone else's blood for the second time in a week. Mina was awake, reading a magazine, looking stronger. She looked up when he walked in, took in his appearance, and set the magazine aside. Is it done? She asked. It's done. All 7? 6 dead, 1 exiled. He'll never come back. Mina held out her hand. Junwoo crossed to her and sat carefully on the edge of the bed. She touched his face, gently, searching. Are you okay? She asked. The question broke something in him. After everything, after she was shot, nearly died, spent a week in the hospital, she was asking if he was okay. I love you, he said roughly, more than I thought it was possible to love another person, more than my life, more than anything. I know. She pulled him down and kissed him softly. I love you too, even when you're terrifying, even when you do things I can't condone, even when you're covered in blood and looking at me like you'd burn the world down if I asked. I would. I know. That's the terrifying part. She smiled. Take me home, Junwoo. I'm done with hospitals. I want our bed, our apartment, you, just you. Doctor said another week. I'm a nurse. I'll clear myself. Let's go home. They went home. Junwoo carried her from the car to the penthouse and refused to let her walk, even though she insisted she could. Set her up on the couch with pillows, blankets, the remote, her phone, water, and pain medication. I'm not an invalid, Mina protested. You were shot 8 days ago. You're recovering. I'm bored. Good. Be bored. Heal. She grabbed his shirt before he could walk away, pulled him down, kissed him with enough heat to make his breath catch. "I'm healed enough for that," she murmured against his mouth. "Mina, I almost died. You went on a revenge spree that probably gave you nightmares. We both need this, need to feel alive, connected. Please." Junwoo hesitated. Then carefully, so carefully, he gathered her up, carried her to their bedroom, laid her down on their bed like she was made of glass. What followed was slow, tender, healing in ways that had nothing to do with medicine. Junwoo touched her as if she were precious, like he'd lost her and found her again, like every kiss was a prayer of gratitude. Mina let him worship her, let him chase away the fear and the darkness with his hands and his mouth and his whispered words of love. Afterward, they lay tangled together, her head on his chest, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on her shoulder, careful to avoid the bandages. "We're going away," Junwoo said into the quiet. "Next month, when you're fully healed. Bali or the Maldives or Switzerland. Your choice." "Switzerland," Mina said immediately. "I want to see mountains, snow, somewhere completely different from here." "Done." "And Junwoo?" "Thank you." "For what?" "For loving me enough to become a monster, for coming back to me, for keeping your promise." She lifted her head to look at him. "I know what you did. I know what it cost you, and I'm not going to pretend it was noble or right or justified, but I understand why you did it, and I love you for it, even if I shouldn't." "You're the only thing that keeps me human," Junwoo said quietly. "The only thing that reminds me I'm more than what I do, what I've done. You see me, Mina, all of me, and you stay anyway. Always. Even when I'm covered in blood, especially then, because you always wash it off before you come to bed, because you never let it touch me, because you keep that world separate, even when it's impossible." She smiled. "You're a good man trying to survive in a bad world, Junwoo. That's enough for me." 3 weeks later, they were in Switzerland, a private chalet overlooking the Alps. Snow everywhere, silence, peace. They spent their days skiing, drinking hot chocolate, making love by the fireplace. Junwoo's phone stayed off. The business could survive without him for 2 weeks. The world could burn for all he cared. On their last night, they stood on the balcony watching the sunset paint the mountains in shades of pink and gold. Mina was wrapped in his coat, her back against his chest, his arms around her waist, carefully avoiding her still healing scar. "I could stay here forever," she murmured. "So let's stay. We have lives in Los Angeles. We could have lives here. I could retire. We could open a bed and breakfast. You could work at a local hospital. I could learn to yodel." Mina laughed. "You yodeling. That I'd pay to see. I'm serious. I'd give it all up for you. The business, the family, the power, all of it, if you asked." She turned in his arms to face him. "I would never ask that. That world is part of who you are. And I chose you. All of you, remember? Even the dark parts? Especially the dark parts, because they come with fierce loyalty, the protection, the love that would burn down the world." She touched his face. "I don't want you to change. I just want you to be careful, to come home, to keep being the man who brings me flowers and fixes my car and looks at me like I'm the only woman in the world. You are. Then we're good. We'll go back to Los Angeles. You'll run your empire. I'll save lives in the ER. And sometimes, when it gets too heavy, we'll come back here, to the snow, to the silence, to just being us." Junwoo kissed her, slow and deep and full of promise. "I love you, Mrs. Kim. I love you too, Mr. Kim, even when you're terrifying. Especially then. Especially then." They returned to Los Angeles differently, stronger, more certain. The families had noticed Junwoo's absence, noticed the power vacuum. Some thought he'd gone soft, retired, become domesticated. His first meeting back proved them wrong. He walked into the conference room, Mina's lipstick still on his collar, her perfume still on his skin, and laid out new terms, new territories, new rules. Anyone who objected could leave or challenge him directly. No one challenged him, because they'd all heard the story about Valentine's Day, about what happened to the 7 men who touched his wife, about how Kim Jun-woo had spent 7 days proving that loving someone didn't make you weak, it made you absolutely terrifying. 6 months after Valentine's Day, Mina came home from a shift to find rose petals scattered through the penthouse, candles everywhere, Jun-woo in the kitchen, actually cooking her favorite meal. "What's this?" she asked, smiling. "Do I need a reason to romance my wife?" "No, but you usually have one anyway." Jun-woo crossed to her, pulled her into his arms. "I wanted to replace the memory of Valentine's Day, of the shooting and the blood and the fear. I wanted to give you a new memory, one that's just us, just love." Mina's eyes filled with tears. "You're such a sap. Only for you. Lucky me." They ate dinner by candlelight, danced in the living room to music only they could hear, made love slowly, thoroughly, like they had all the time in the world. Later, tangled in sheets, Mina said quietly, "I'm pregnant." Jun-woo froze. "What?" "About 8 weeks. I found out yesterday. Wanted to tell you in person, not over the phone." She watched his face carefully. "Are you happy? Scared? Both?" "Both," he admitted. "Terrified, actually. My world, it's dangerous. For a child, our child," Mina corrected, "will be loved, protected, raised by 2 people who chose each other against all odds, who survived bullets and blood and Valentine's Day massacres. If we can survive that, we can survive anything." Jun-woo placed his hand on her still flat stomach. Reverent, awed. "A baby. A baby. I'm going to be a father. The most overprotective father in history, probably, but yes." He laughed, pure joy, and kissed her until they were both breathless. "I love you so much. You and this baby. You're my whole world." "We love you too," Mina whispered, "even when you're terrifying." "Especially then?" "Especially then." And that's the story. A love worth killing for. A love worth dying for. A love that survived Valentine's Day, bullets, and 7 days of revenge. If you made it this far, you're one of the real ones. Hit that like button, subscribe for more dark romance stories, and drop a comment telling me whose POV you want next time, the Mafia boss or his wife. See you in the next story. Until then, stay dangerous, stay in love, and remember, the best romances are the ones worth fighting for.